Well, hello and welcome to my channel. Hope it's Real 22. Welcome to this frequency. If you are watching this video, you are probably a star seed, a light worker, an awakened soul who it's also trying to find information and answers to what we are experiencing, especially when it comes to energy and our bodies responding to these new energies, integration of new energies and new reality. But I want to welcome you, and I'm making this video because I've been getting a lot of downloads in the last few days, and I have experienced other lunar eclipses and other solar eclipses, but I have never experienced what I have experienced this week in regards to lunar eclipse. Um, as many of you know, we just had here in America, we just had a full moon, red moon lunar eclipse, and there will be a couple of more eclipses coming up. There's going to be one solar eclipse, I believe, is going to be sometime in March, at the end of March 29. And there's going to be another full moon eclipse sometime in September. But the reason I'm making this video is because I want to explain, some of the information that I've been giving through channeling and meditation in regards to why I was experiencing this, debilitating symptoms of dizziness. And so it was, to the point where I had to go to the emergency room because I didn't know why I was so extremely dizzy. And but there's a whole cascade of symptoms that I experienced, and I'm sure that there's other people, for what I'm hearing, that are experiencing almost the same symptoms. So, interestingly enough, um, prior to this week, for some reason, I've been getting these these words um, coming in through downloads. And before I go into the symptoms of the lunar eclipse and the energies, I think I should go and discuss some of the words because these are new words for me. That is not something that I will typically go into and search what the meaning is. And I'm not an electrician. I don't study energy or any of that. But we are energy, and so um, I think the reason I'm getting this is because I want to explain. I need to explain some of the reasons why some of these symptoms are happening in regards to our cells and our body, right? So, anyways, let me start by saying that this lunar eclipse was very intense for me, and the number one symptom that I experienced was dizziness and very emotional and sensitive, crying out of nowhere, overreacting to little things. Um, but the dizziness was pretty much debilitating. Okay. Also, the energies were feeling very chaotic for me, like very chaotic. Like it was hard to come to a place of like ease. And I'm a Virgo, and so I was over analytical, over judgmental. My husband is a Pisces, so he was, it was like we were integrating the dreamer and spiritual part of Pisces, integrating with the Virgo. So it was kind of chaotic, um, but we are, I made it through. And then today, after we had the eclipse, I felt like I was more grounded, and but I think there's more to it than what we just. There's more explanation to it when it in relate when it relates to energy and the physics of it. I think there's more to that kind of explains it better. And I was in the couch and I was like, like, why am I feeling this? I can't even move. Um and I think that I was, I went inside, and my higher self or God responded, and I was able to understand more why this is happening. So I'm gonna start with the word that I've been getting in the last couple of weeks, and the word is buffer. So the word is buffer, stabilizer, amplifier, modulator, conveyor, actual action potential, cell membrane, um, kinetic energy, water, and I think I'm getting a better understanding of these energies and how it affects our bodies as star seeds who are doing the work and are more sensitive to these energies. So, the first one I've been thinking about a lot in the last few weeks is buffering. And I understand buffering from my nursing experience as a state of as a compound or a sort of a form of energy that pretty much wants to bring things into balance so that it's not too much like in chemistry, like too much of a, it's kind of like, it kind of, so it's not too much of an impact in the, in the energy output or input, it's a buffer. So what I found as I Google this, which is interesting because what I've been getting a lot is that we star seeds are, we hear a lot about like we are anchoring the new energies, the solar frequencies. We're anchoring these, but I think there's a lot more that is happening than we think we are doing it. And a lot of it, it's, we are, in a way, we are the ones into almost like acting as buffers for these incoming energies so that we so the energy can come out and we kind of we kind of monitor the new incoming energies, and we kind of like buffer it out so it's not so chaotic, and it's almost like we are before these energies, before the lunar eclipse actually happens, we are already sensing these and transmuting these energies. We're actually processing these energies, and we, as buffers, and we are able to absorb this energy and almost modulate it, almost like change the dial and turn it into a dial that's more focused and more directed into the right places. So I looked up these on online, and what I got was that what I read was that energy. So a buffer is a system or device that stores energy for later use, acting as a shock smoother. Okay, and modulates those fluctuations in supply and demand, and to manage intermittent energy sources. So this kind of reading this kind of clarify what I was getting, the buffer part of it, and that's absolutely, I totally agree with that word buffer. We are buffers, star seeds. We are absorbing the heavy shock first before it hits everything else, and we are kind of like easy. We make it easy for these energies to kind of like, you know, I guess like we don't have this huge input of energy that causes Earth and everything to go crazy, right? So we are acting as buffers. We are also stabilizing these energies. And again, when I looked this online, it was mostly related to energy, and it kind of like makes sense to me. So for a stabilizer in energy, it's basically saying um, it's designed to maintain a stable and consistent voltage or amp, or to damp the oscillations in the power grid, ensuring reliability, so reliable power delivery. So this is another thing that I've also been like intuitively becoming more aware of what our role as star seeds and integrating these new energies also is part of our as part of our job here, um, when they say, okay, well, you guys are anchoring the new energies. Well, yeah, and we understand that as in the mind, but how is it really showing up in reality and in our bodies? And so when I saw what stabilizing meant, I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. That's definitely what I think. So basically, these energies are coming in, and we are pretty much the power. I guess you can say, like, our bodies have the ability to either stabilize these energies in the grid. Okay, so we are doing a whole lot of work here. I mean, when you think about energy and the power of energy, I mean, I'm very surprised that I am not like even dead, I guess. Like, I'm not even like really super sick, because I mean, this is incredible. Like, to think about like how much energy and solar energy we are processing in our own bodies. It's really amazing. Um, and the other word that I've been getting a lot is amplifier. And now this one, I almost like in my meditations, I'm grounding, I'm clearing my chakras, I am, you know, focusing my attention into getting this beam of light from the sun, entering this cosmic, golden, beautiful light down to my spine. And then I intuitively, I have been putting my hands on the ground and asking Mother Gaia to accept these energies. And I imagine spreading these energies out into the rest of the world, Earth, and almost like pulses. And I'm asking the crystals of Earth to receive these energies, because part of this, I think part of the problem that I was having with the dizziness is that I was holding on to a lot of energy. There was a surplus of energy, and there's momentum that needs to be released. And so meditation and grounding, it's what helps also, we're not meant to keep this energy, because in our body, we're supposed to process the energy and then send it out to where it needs to go. So we are buffering what's coming in, okay? We are stabilizing the amount, and then through amplification, we are focusing and sending through focus intention these energies out into the inner earth, the crystals, Mother Gaia. You have the ability to, through focus intention, send these beams straight into whatever you intended to. It's gonna go out there, right? The other thing is that the other word that I was getting a lot was modulator. And so this modulator part, um, so the modulator device, and I'm getting this from, I guess, the view of earth science. Um, it's an apparatus or a system that adjusts or vary its output, like heat or power, to match the actual demand, leading to more efficient energy usage compared to systems that operate at a fixed output. So, yeah, so basically we are modulating these energies, right? And we are adjusting how much output, because what I am sensing is that the solar energies are coming in, they are so intense that they cannot just hit the earth at once. So we starseeds, our bodies, through focus intention, through meditation, through doing the clearing, our bodies are dialing and adjusting these energies throughout earth, through whatever part of the world you're in. Your job is to modulate, amplify, and adjust the energies as they're coming through, so that Earth has an easier, and we all have an easier way of shifting these energies and anchoring the new energies, um, to avoid having all this, you know, earthquakes and all these other things, that catastrophes that can happen from all having all this energy all at once. So we're modulating these energies, and we are doing that. We as star seeds, we are doing that. And so that's amazing. I'm still like, what? Even though I've been getting these, I've been knowing this, kind of like intuitively, I've been knowing this and I've been doing this, but to finally come and understand it, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Okay, the other word I got, actually this one I got today, was conveyor. And in Earth, according to Earth science, a conveyor is an apparatus or system used to move goods from one area to another through kinetic energy. And I was like, aha, I knew kinetic energy. I've heard of that before. Kinetic, so there are two forms of energy, okay? There's gravitational, there's potential energy, which is what exists in reality, and in the reality of our existence, in reality of the quantum field. What there is infinite amount of is potential energy. Okay, so anything that you can imagine already exists as potential energy. But once we, or the observer, puts their attention and puts the intent and work, it actually, I guess, um, makes a conscious intention of, how would I say this? The conscious intention of going ahead with this, or doing something with this potential energy, then it becomes kinetic energy, which kinetic energy is anything in motion is energy. So me talking to you right now is kinetic energy, because it's moving from the thought, from the thought field, the thought waves, as potential energy. But now that I'm speaking it out and we are doing something about it, now we are giving all this movement of words and vibrations and emotions and all that is kinetic energy in action. It's moving energy. Now, when I was very dizzy, I was also feeling very thirsty, and I kept drinking water. And I was like, well, I'm drinking a lot of water. Why am I feeling so like accelerated? Like I need dehydrated, right? And and at the same time, I was having a lot of urine output. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is not working here, right? Because I'm drinking water, I'm peeing it out, and I'm feeling dehydrated still, right? So that's the one thing that brought me to the hospital too, because I felt like maybe I'm a little dehydrated as well. And that's the nursing part in my head, like tells me, okay, well, you might be dehydrated, maybe go check it out and see what's going on. Once they gave me the IV fluids, that totally changed my feeling of being accelerated and dehydrated. That brought me back to like, okay, this is good, this is feeling release, right? And the thing is that water in motion, it's kinetic energy. Okay, water has the ability to actually, water has both, has the potential ability of being potential energy when it's being stored, and once it's running through like a river or an ocean, that becomes kinetic energy, because kinetic energy is basically moving, right? So yeah, so water is very important for us. And right now, there's this whole action potential cell membrane interaction going on right now, that water facilitates that. Okay, what I noticed too is that this is not the only, I'm noticing a pattern when it comes to eclipses and newer incoming energies. I notice a pattern where like I feel like I'm sensing these new energies coming in before they actually hit us. And these energies start to like, this energy starts to build up. There's like a build up momentum, almost like when you say, like, you live in Florida and feels like a lot of humidity, and you just want to get release. You want to get that release of energy, and just let it go, because you have all this surplus, right, of water hanging in the clouds that, now it's becoming very uncomfortable for the environment. So now you just want to release that, right? So that's what I feel, at least myself, when I'm getting, um, when I'm sensing these new energies. It's like a buildup, and you're building this action potential. And there's phases to this, okay? There's like the, before polarization, and then you have this depolarization phase, and then you have a resting phase of the cell membrane. And that's what I'm feeling right now. I think I'm in my resting resting phase of the cell membrane um, polarization, depolarization process. Because once the lunar eclipse passed, I participated in a meditation with a group of people. This morning I woke up and it was like, whoa, I'm back to almost grounded person, more relaxed. Um, it's just total. It's a total flip, okay. And so, I understand it better. I understand that, like, okay, we're gonna be building up. Okay, so whenever we start feeling that buildup of energy, okay, because if we, I mean, what we need to understand is that energy, uh, it's always, you know, always wanting to move. There's always gonna be a form of we are always trying to get to balance. Basically, our bodies, the universe, the earth. It's always we are always in this um, fluid state where everything needs to be balanced. Itself, its consciousness, its energies wanting to be back into balance. So once we star seeds receive these incoming solar flares, coming energies, right, before it hits everybody else, right, that who maybe are not doing the work, are not cleaning their bodies, who are more dense, we are able to process this better. And so we are receiving this, we're doing this buffering for them, right? We're doing the buffering for Mother Gaia, for the rest of the people. Um, and yeah, we feel this a little bit. That's why we are feeling this a little bit more. It's affecting us a little bit more, and we're feeling a little bit heavier on us, because we are the people that can take this. Like, we are the ones who are actually modulating and dialing from the right frequency, sending the energies out into the right places through our meditations, focus, intention. Even if we're not fully aware of it, I think that we've been doing this this whole time. Obviously, the more we work at it, the more we are aware, and the more we find ways to help ourselves and navigate these things, like, the easier it's gonna get for us, right? So, um, see, I'm getting lost again. I said I was gonna get lost. Um, yeah. So now, so we're gonna be feeling this building up. The dizziness is gonna be there. Um, Fatigued, and that the fatigue part, I think, is coming from the part that, hey, your body's telling you, hey, you have all this energy you need to process right now. You need to relax, get some rest, eat right, drink right, and rest, because your energy needs to be focused on processing these new energies. And the best way to do that is through sleep. When we sleep, we regenerate, we heal. So fatigue is a system that's telling you, hey, you're processing something new. It's like when you have an illness. You have an illness, you go to sleep. That's your body saying, hey, you know, um, we cannot spend extra energy going play sports, because we have this virus in your body that needs to be healed. So we need to focus that energy into healing. So you should not be going out there and play sports and swim and do all that stuff. And I think that's the reason why when you're sick, you don't want to, like, you don't have the energy to go out there, because that's your body telling you, hey, we need to focus our energy into healing this, okay? We need to have all these cells go out there and work in your body. So that makes sense too to me. Like, that's, as a nurse, that this is making a lot of sense to me. Like, this, the dizziness is making more sense. The emotional sensitivity when it comes to the signs, the astrological signs, the Pisces, the Virgo mix in there. I think Gemini was also part of this lunar eclipse. One of the signs that was being also affected by this lunar eclipse. The irritability, the irritability part, I think that part has to do with our nervous system, you know, um, is starting to get a little bit overexcited. For many days now, I've been um, becoming more aware that our cells right now are in a state of um, sizzling, like almost like when you're starting to to cook bacon, like you hear that sizzle. And our cells, the more stimulus they're getting even more and more. They're building the sizzling. It's getting to get louder and louder, and our cells are in this sizzle, right? Sizzling state, and that can either be too much, right? And so we're starting to see these like, hey, you need to do something with this energy. You're starting to get moody. You're starting to like be mad and throwing things, and that's energy that needs to be refocused and anchored and let go and send it to where it needs to go. And how do you know where it needs to go? Well, you just meditate, send it to Mother Gaia, and she'll take what she needs, um, and the rest will just go somewhere else. Nothing gets wasted. That's one thing that I've learned since I started meditating and going through my awakening is that nothing gets wasted. Like the universe has a way of like recycling and it just nothing really goes to waste. Like it's a really smart system, like super sentient. Like we have no idea. Um, the sleep disturbances as well. I've been having a lot of that. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm not tired when I do stuff. Then 3 hours later, I'm like, okay, now I need to go to sleep. And so that's another way of integrating our sense of time change, because we are also changing our circadian rhythms, because our body's starting to sense like, hey, there's something going on here with this sense of time, because as we know, time is not a real thing. So it's like, wait, our circadian rhythms, our time clocks are just kind of like going off right now. And so it's like trying to recalibrate, kind of readjust to the idea that like I'm losing track of time, because there is no time, right? It's always now. Everything's here and now, here and now. We live in the eternal here and now. And there's never tomorrow. It's always here now. And if you think about it, like, there's me talking to you guys 2 seconds ago, but that's already passed. And it's here now. And it's here now. And it's here now. So it's always now, 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 now. So I know it's like kind of like what? But yeah, so it's always we live in this eternal here and now. And so I am having a very difficult time right now with time. I know things that need to be done, but I don't have that sense of like time as far as like, oh, having a schedule for every single minute of my life. I don't have one. I know what I need to do. I know where I have to be there, but it's not like I feel the need to have every second of my life be written on a piece of paper. I really don't feel that. I don't know. I just don't feel that anymore. Like I left that behind a while ago. And so, because I feel like I'm more here in the now. Also, with these energies of this eclipse, we are also integrating the spiritual with the Virgo sign, the earth, the grounding. So it was this debate between like head and I guess spiritual and physical part. So it was a little bit of a conflict there. And the other thing that was kind of crazy, I think I already talked about the thirsty, the feeling accelerated pulse. Um, the other thing that was super crazy for me was the awareness of frequency shifts. A lot of the old energies, personal experiences, personal memories were coming up to the surface, and it was very uncomfortable to the point where I felt like, oh no, 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 I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to go there. Oh, and I would have to like breathe, do some breath work, and pull myself back up into these higher frequencies, because the lower frequencies were coming up. I was becoming more aware of it. I was resisting those energies, but it was becoming very, very difficult to resist these energies. So what I received from my guides was to call in the purple flame, the violet flame of purification, and help me transmute these old patterns, these old energies, these old densities, transmute them and turn them into a positive white energy, send it back into the ether, and release that, replace that. You have to, because there was no way that I was not going to be dealing with them. There's no way. And I wasn't only dealing with my own dense energies from the past, but I understood that I was also helping uh, collective energies from the past, and they were coming up, and they needed my help. I needed to do this work. I needed to also transmute those energies and put them back into the, transmute them and put them back out. Okay, so um, yeah, that was very difficult. But once I did that, I was able to readjust and be back to like a more of a stable place in energy. Um, I understood that when this during the solar eclipse, when you get this moment of complete darkness, you could say darkness. It was never really dark, but this moment of like it was like a reset. Okay, where the old, well, everything gets a pause, reset, and it's gone, and then you have the new, right? So when never, we're gonna be getting, it's not just for the solar eclipse, we're gonna be getting these energies, and it's gonna be getting more and more intense. And I think that's me becoming more aware of what is happening at the I guess I can say at the quantum level, physical level, spiritual level, becoming more aware of this. It's helping me understand, okay, this is what's happening, this is what I need to do. um yeah, but I feel like like, I don't know if you guys can feel this, but I feel like um like I feel more aware of the different energies and reality energies that are people are in, like I go into like a store, and I feel like, okay, well, something feels really, it's like your own um compass in your body, your own sense of like proprioception, we used to call it, where like your body tells you like where you are in time and space. Is becoming more and more clear, and so it's like, okay, well, this is not where I want to be. Okay, there's something that needs to be. The thing is that we cannot escape it. Okay, the thing is that we need is there because we need to do something about it. Okay, we cannot ignore it. The more we try to put it to the back, the more it's gonna be bugging us to like, hey, hey. It's like almost like when your dog needs to go for a walk. It's like follows you around, follows you around, follows you around, and until you say like, okay, leave me alone. Okay, I'll take you for a walk, right? That happens to me all the time. So that's kind of like the same thing where it's gonna be coming back. You can put it away for a while, and then it's gonna come back again. So then when you're ready, you just say like, okay, okay, I'm gonna deal with this. But there's no way at all that we're gonna be moving and just leaving things behind. Nothing's gonna stay behind. Like, we have to deal with this, and it kind of sucks because it's difficult. Okay, it's uncomfortable at the physical level, right? It's uncomfortable, and so that we have to be able to be aware of is that we need to is there for a reason. And even if we don't feel like we can do this, we need to ask for the help from God, from your spirit guides, from the angels, the purple flame, whatever it is, whatever balancing you need to do at the time. Um, breathe, breath work is very important. Give yourself, whenever you do whenever you do breath work, I feel like you almost do a reset in your body. Like, say like, okay, I'm taking this, I'm clearing, let it go, right? What I usually do, it's like I will count to like 4, hold breath for 4, and then release for 8. And I'll do this a few times. Sometimes I do it at 7, depending on what whatever I feel like doing. Um, but what makes it, so what we're gonna go down here to what makes it better, and definitely is the grounding. I mean, the grounding part, which is meditation, focus, intention, inviting the purple flame if you're having a difficult time trying to like get rid of these very uncomfortable energies. Breathe. Do some breath work. Invite the purple flame. Invite the prana, the energy of God, whatever you want to call it. Invite it in. Imagine that this energy is coming through the crown chakra and through your nose, and it's like almost clearing your whole spine. Because remember, our cells, our body cells right now are in this very, they're receiving all this new information that they didn't have before, so they're kind of like sizzling and waking up. And the more you recognize them, the more they're like, yeah, well, this is not there's nothing wrong here. This is actually good for us. So we're going to be like working with you, and we're going to be doing this, right? Because our cells are also very sentient. Okay, you have to remember that. And this is something here that in this world, in 3D, they never told us that, right? They always made it seem like, they always made it seem like divinity was something that you had to sacrifice, and it was something that was really far away from us, like something that we could never achieve, something that we can never get to, like, right? Like they made it seem like divinity is something that it was so far out there for us, when in reality we are divine. We have always been divine. Divinity is us. Divinity has been inside us the whole time. There's nothing we need to go to. There's nothing to get to. There's no way to go. It's us. It's here. It's now. It's us. We are divine. Which, okay, I think I touched all these points. Which brings me to my next, the next thing I wanted to share with you is, now that we're talking about divinity and who we really are. I had this crazy dream, and I'm gonna share this dream because I think there's a little bit of more significance to this dream. So I was in a building with my daughter. I was holding my daughter, she's now 8, but in this dream she was a little bit younger, maybe like a toddler. And my husband wasn't there too. And then I'm telling my daughters, and I'm like, hey, look, there's like a disc coming down. And there was this disc coming down from the sky, right? It's coming down. It was getting closer and closer and closer. And then, as if it had a magnet to it, it landed on my right hand. And it was like a magnet. Like it just went like boom, like that. Like it didn't move, right? It was just like that, like a magnet. And I was like, oh, wow. So I was like, what is this? What is this? And my husband, somehow he was like, I think it's like a drive, like a computer drive. I think some sort of system like that. So somehow we figured out how to open this disk, and this drive, it was a drive, and it had like what I would call files in it. And there was different folders in there, like folders, you would call them, or files. And I clicked in one of them, and in this folder there was information. The year was 2600, so 6,000 years from now, right? So it was 2600, and it was Earth, but there was a scientist talking and talking to the people through like some kind of broadcasting system, and he was talking in this video, and I couldn't, how like when you go into a dream and then that's a different frequency, and then you come to this to the reality here, and it's like the frequency is different, so you don't recall a lot of the stuff there. So he was telling me about he was talking about Earth, at that time, but it was like Earth in a different timeline, total different timeline. Then I opened this other folder, and on this folder they were talking. This was what looked like gray aliens. They were the ones that were like kind of like gave me this disc, and they were basically showing me that humanity is probably like and I'm not saying we're like the best species ever out there. I'm not saying that. Like I do believe that we're all one, part of the one. We're all one, but there's something about humanity, us, that it's very close to God like power. Very close to God. Like we almost like God, basically. Like we are very close to that source. Our genetic, our what was crazy was that our what they showed me was that our what makes us different is our ability to love and to feel as deep as we can. As humans, we are very emotional. We feel things so deeply, and we love so deeply. And the love that they showed me was the love of a parent and a child. Like our ability to love our children, like is that love that God feels for, like God feels. That's the love that He feels for us, and that is why, because we can love like that, we have been given the ability to be almost like God, because you can only those who understand love can use this power for goodness. And that's why it's important that we are coming to a place of spirituality and technology integration with a conscious mind and soul, because you know otherwise people that don't have this um, ability to love will see this power as something that could be used for negative reasons, right? And that's what's happened in the past. So now we are able to be, us as humans, we have the ability to love and feel. And so, you know how, like in Earth, they say, well, men don't cry, or don't cry. This is you can do this better. Don't cry. Well, all that was a lie. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to feel, because they can take anything away from you, but what they cannot take is what you feel, what you love. Okay, that's your gift. Like, do not let anyone make you feel the other way. Just a second. My dog just came in. Sorry. Let me put her out. Hello. How did she open the door? Gosh, I'm sorry about that. I don't even know how she opened the door. But anyways, so yeah, so that really made a lot of sense for me. That yeah, our ability to love, our ability to feel, because we feel, we're compassionate, we understand all these things. And this is something that these specific gray aliens were unable to experience, because these aliens, these two gray aliens, and I don't like calling them aliens, because I do, now that I understand more, I feel like they're more like they're our family too. They're people like us, but they don't have that ability to feel. Like when I was talking to them in this, like, being close to their energy is very, their energy is borderline cold. Like they, and that makes us feel very scared, because they almost don't, I mean, they're very cold. Like they, it's almost like there's nothing there. Like there's not that coziness, that warmth that we have. Like, we have this warmth, and this safe place that we feel, right? They are very cold. These and not all of them are the same. I just want to say that, like, a lot of these extraterrestrial beings, even though they might look not human or humanoid, not all of them are cold, but some of them are very, like these ones are very cold. These were very cold grays, but they were explaining that yeah, our ability to love and ability to feel, ability to have emotions, this is what makes us us. And and this is why we were given that power, because just like Jesus, just like God, I mean, they love us so much. And but it has to be used, this power has to be used in the right way and at the right time, and with the right purpose. So anyways, but I wanted to share that. So um I've been talking for about 45 minutes, but um yeah. And the other thing I recently, I want to say one more last thing, is that um a lot of people are saying that they feel like they've lost everything. Going through this awakening has taken everything away from them, money, house, whatever. And sometimes it's not that these things are bad. Abundance is actually our divine right. Abundance and wealth. There's no poverty. Like, that's just an illusion. That's something that they said to pretty much take all your life force and make you feel worthless and all that stuff, that the part of the illusion of the matrix. But what I do understand is that uh, God will pretty much remove all those things, all those materials things from you, so that you can realize that everything you need is inside you. Everything you need is already there. There's nothing to look for. The universe is actually there for us. The universe is actually waiting for us to kind of like tell it what how we and the what we need, what we want. But the way it does it is through mirroring. So by you, I guess, being what you want to be, that's how you that's how you speak to the universe to let it know that this is what you want to keep getting. This is what you want to keep getting more of, right? But you have, the way you do it is through action. So, we need to start moving these these thoughts from this lighter fluid level, and bring it into a denser level to be able to manifest in the reality here, because this reality is a little bit, physical reality is much more denser. So we need to bring these waveforms into practicality so it can manifest in these and that happens through action. Okay, so you have a dream, but it's going to take action for you to actually see it materialized in this reality. So basically, that's what it is. But everything that you need is already there. Everything that you need is already there. You just have to bring it, almost like upload it from this um, thought, imagination waveform, and bring it through action, bring it to into this reality to be manifested in this heart reality. And then the other thing is that we need to remember that God is, even though we don't see this like this is happening, but God is already a million steps ahead of us. So even though it doesn't seem to us to make sense why things are happening now, just trust the process, trust the universe, trust God that he's already seeing you up there. He already knows where you're gonna be in 10,000 years. He already knows you more than you know yourself, or ever will ever know yourself. Um, so, anyways, I hope that helps. If I get more information, if I keep getting more downloads, which I think I am, there's a lot of things that I want to share. I've been wanting to share these things, but I haven't, because some things I feel like maybe they were not the right time. But if you are watching this channel, I think you're ready for it. There's a lot of things. As you know, I'm clairvoyant. I see things, I remote view, I do a lot of different things that I never thought in my life I was capable of doing, but now I am. And so, um, but I will be sharing other things too, because there's still a very large group of people who are still having a difficult time. They know that there's something wrong. They do know that there's something wrong. There's things don't make sense anymore. They cannot pinpoint at it. For example, people in their 60s, like my mom, my husband's dad, he's in his 70s. We were having a talk with him, and he was telling us like, hey, this just makes no sense. Like, why do we love our friends and family, and then they leave, and then they die, and why are we so? And then we had to we sat down with him, and we started talking to him, and like kind of like explaining, but they're having a difficult time separating our a physical form from a spiritual form. They think that, a lot of them think that when you die, that's it. Like, what do so there's a lot of like, it's a lot of like help that we can still, we can offer to these people, because the thing that is important to remember is that they are also important, and they also came here with a purpose and an intention. And even though they're not what we would call fully awakened, um, they had a role to play in this whole um, in this whole ascension of earth. They also did their part. They also had a role to play, and that was the role to play, maybe they were not meant to be fully awakened at the time, maybe they had to go through life, and but a lot of them set a really good example for us, because a lot of us can remember the before and the after, right? We can remember life before, like the 80s or the 90s and the 2000s, and we can remember all this new life with all these kids, with all this technology, with all these things. So they had a role to play, and they play the role very well, okay? But yeah, they might have a little bit of a harder time understanding the way we understand things now, but they are just as important, and they are just as loved. They, believe it or not, they're just as important as you and me, as us. Like, I mean, that's what I basically was told by spirit guides, that they are just as loved and as important, even if they're not awake, even if you would call them like they're still drinking the juice from the Matrix. They are still important. They play their part. They are pretty much done. They set the stage for a lot of us, and so I love them so much. I love them and send them love. Well, I love you all, and I just get so sensitive, because I mean, I understand, like, how much work is taken for a lot of us to get to this point, and I am very grateful for all those people. Anyways, God bless you, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye bye.